To graph your Kilifish information, you're going to work with the information you've got from the class averages for crude oil exposure alone and crude oil plus the dispersant. This is a sample to see how it's done. This experiment was done with pyrethrum on Daphnia. You can see that we have the concentrations on the left and the number of dead Daphnia, and you have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cycle semi-log paper. Here's the way it'll look once it's graphed. You would put the concentration on the bottom, so the 0.1 is on the left going on this first line here, then the 1 concentration, 1 part per million, is on the next line. This would be the 10, this would be the 100, 1,000, and 10,000. So the thing to remember is that within this section, you're going to be counting by 0.1. So this would be 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.6, 0.7, 0.8, 0.9, and then the next one moves up to 1.0. Here you would count by ones in this section, and you would count by tens here, hundreds here, thousands here. So based on that, you want to then plot based on the number of dead. You would get the threshold and the LD50, and it would look like this. Now let's do your data. You have a 5-cycle graph paper. If you're in the class that didn't get your graph paper, print off a copy from Plus Portals. You're going to skip the first set of information because we need really a 6-cycle piece of graph paper. So we're going to start on the left with the 1.0, and then we would plot the next one at 10 parts per million, the following one at 100 parts per million. Follow the pattern till you have them all marked, and of course you're going to put the dose, excuse me, not the dose, but the mortality on this axis. So follow the instructions at the top. You will need some way to designate 2 separate lines for the 2 conditions. Preferably color is the easiest thing to work with. I recommend pencil or colored pencils because you can erase a little bit if you make mistakes. After you plot your data, follow the pattern you saw just a minute ago to determine the LD50 for the oil alone, and then also the oil plus the dispersant. Write your answer clearly on the back of your paper, and then write a short discussion of how the use of the dispersants in the Gulf oil spill is likely to impact aquatic wildlife that swims within the water column. And I want you to hypothesize how the oil and the dispersant may be taken in by the wildlife. Now you can pick anything from very small organisms to marine mammals. And that's what you need to do. You're all done.